let's
I
talk
think
about a
failures are
fail.
part of learning. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think failures are part of learning, right?
Yeah.
I I was in Houston. We had everything built out. We were with the VP of IT. Everybody's celebrating. So, we're at happy hour afterwards. And at the end of the night, he says, "Hey, there's one thing that I learned earlier this week is what the executive team is bonused on." And we're like, "Oh, great.
Yeah.
That's awesome." And
Yeah.
he tells us, and the proposition going forward would have been very counter and very expensive to what the executive team's taking home. And I mean, that became a work until 3 a.m., change the offering. The offering was still the right offering for the organization,
Yeah.
but it changed the whole financial case because you miss that one thing that the economic buyer is really going to care about. And so it does take a little bit of that homework. And like I still call it a fail because that's something that we should have uncovered months, if not at least weeks before that final board meeting. But we got there, but it was definitely a struggle to get there.
Yeah, and I love what you said too about how it has to be in the customer's language, but it also has to be in the customer's financial language, right? What's important, right? So we talk about metrics all the time, and
Great.
and I went through all this with a go-to-market team just this week, and it's like, it was like pulling teeth, right? Like, give me another metric. Oh, well, I'm like, that's not a metric. That's an emotion, right?
That's
Okay.
right.
Yeah. We do it faster or better. That's an emotion, right? So everybody sort of and I want to put this out because I think this is important with a value-based selling conversation. It's the how, the what, and the why. We all know that.
That's right.
And you and I could talk for 8 hours about how we do things and what we do. But if you ask the person why they do it, it's crickets for a couple of minutes because no one's really established that. And
Sure.
I believe, and I want to be provocative here because I really think that even though this is science, Vikas, I think this is about the why, because right, okay, great, because
Every
good,
time, and we
good,
start with why. We don't
good,
let why come last. We go
okay,
why, what, how every time.
love it,
'Cause technology. Look, we're going to have disruptive technologies. I've probably seen 4 of them in my lifetime. There'll probably be more of them that come up. Sure, disruptive technologies happen. The why happens to become this is disruptive.
yeah,
But outside of that, most people start thinking of a lot of technology, so the how, as commoditized.
yeah,
So then what are we doing and why are we doing it? And we flip it. Like I know Simon Sinek, I'm a big fan of Simon
yeah,
Sinek. This is
yeah,
one of his things as well. Um, but as long as we can start with the why, maybe they don't become our customer, and that's okay. They still went and solved their problem. That was the intent. And maybe then they'll come back next time and say, you were such great partners to us the last time. Maybe there's more we need to go do. Maybe there's more that we want to bring you in as a trusted partner now. Like we solved the problem that we had, but now you're trusted, right?
yeah. Yeah, yeah, and I have a formula for any go-to-market executive when I talk about value-based, or I talk about telling a story, or looking at how you impact the customer. It's impact plus emotions that leads to massive action. You've got to have all those three, and you can talk about impact on a spreadsheet all you want, right? And every day, all day, you can do it. But if you don't have the emotions around that, what's the why? What's driving that? Is it a culture issue? Is it a board level initiative? Is it bonuses or whatever that emotion is,
Yep.
or serving the customer better? Those emotions that's what will drive massive action. We can get action with impact. You can show me a spreadsheet, and they're going to buy something, right? They're going to say, okay, X plus Y equals Z. We see it. You get that point. We're going to buy something. But for a massive deal, if you put the emotions in it, which is what we're talking about now in a value-based selling, looking at the art and the science together, man, you can move that needle, right? Then you get the history-making deals, you get the career-making deals. Listen up, people that are listening. This is career-making deals that we're talking about. This is not just making your number. This is making your number by 400%. And
Sure.
that's where you want to be, right? So it's going from good to great. No, there's one more level. I always say it because it's great to outstanding, and that's what we want to do here, and that's what value-based selling is about. So I love that you said all that, and I think it's important that the listeners understand that, because this is a whole nother game and another language that in most cases customers aren't used to hearing. This is a differentiator, right? Is it talk about how what you've seen in the field? We talked about a little bit about the fails, but I'm going to go sideways here a little bit. Give us a little story about somewhere where you went in there, you used this language, or you saw somebody use this language, and the customer just leaned in. They took massive action because they saw that you were educated and you had a different language. You differentiated yourself. Would you have a story about that? I know I put you on the spot.
No, so many of them. I'll
Yeah,
tell you
good.
one thing that, and I tell this to our sales reps. So now being a bigger part of sales enablement, something that I tell a lot of sales reps is come in with some empathy, come in with a point of view, but you don't have to be prescriptive because you don't understand enough yet to be prescriptive.
Right.
Right. But come in with a point of view, show that you've done your research. And so I'll use an airline, for example. Ping has airline customers
Sure.
everywhere. I mean,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
it's huge. But if you don't understand their value proposition to their customers, what their customer journey looks like, and just showing up understanding we all use this every day, or maybe not so much anymore because of COVID, but we all used to use it all the time, right?
Right.
And so we're consumers as well, and being able to show the empathy of here's how much better it could be for yourself, for your team, for your organization. We had one where we put a customer journey in front of the customer. We put their customer's journey in front of them. And it was a customer journey. Honestly, we got it from Boston Consulting Group. Boston Consulting
Oh,
Group
yeah.
puts out customer journeys all the time. And look, I look at the thought leaders out there to say, how are they talking to customers? How are they talking to the people that they engage with all the time? And then where do we align along that journey? Because that's the language that your customers care about. And so when we showed that to them and said, here's the reality, if this is what your customers are doing, and this is the engagement points that you have, we'll use identity because that's the space I'm in now.
Yeah.
Here's where identity and access management fits into this journey. Even if you're trying to solve a problem, maybe it feels like on the back end of the journey, what about these other points that you could be solving for as well? And so, yeah, you get one drip here, but then you're building the skills, you're building the technical infrastructure that you can do it everywhere. And that changes from what could be a really small opportunity and a really small change that maybe touches one team to a much more massive opportunity.
Yeah.
Because now the light bulbs are going off of,
Sure.
wait, I can do this everywhere. And that's the idea, right? That becomes transformational, not just for the person or the group of the team that's selling the deal, but for the team that's implementing, for the team that's consuming, frankly, to the top line and bottom line for the organization that's incorporating the tech into their stack.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And that's serving the customer, right? And then what you're doing there is you're building value for multiple use cases. So we all know about the land and expand, and a lot of sales teams they're happy with, oh, let's land and then we'll expand. Well, why can't we just do it all, right? Why can't we get a bigger deal? If you're getting a small deal and you're doing 3x and 4x, that's great. Well, we used to do that at Splunk years back, but I would always want to at least start with a bigger deal. Even the first deal should be bigger, because then of course your 3 and 4x are much bigger too. Everything is exponential, right? So, and the way you do that is with that value-based selling. We've seen this over and over and over again, right? All right, so let's flip the conversation. I want to go back to what makes you. I really like you. I like what you stand for, and you have a servant leadership mindset, like myself. So we're very aligned, and that transcends into how you teach and how you implement these kinds of things, right?